Okay.
Morning. Ashin Samach Gimel Sif Lamed Hey Pas Zet Sha'amarnu She'oisa Kain L'may Rechov Mavoi. When we're talking about a case where you have over Esther Amos and you want to put a thin like pas of wall or something like that to mamayit to lessen the width so it hits 10 Amos. It doesn't need to be one solid piece of wood or whatever it is. Like any dina in mechitza, it could be, you could use lavud, and you could have one stick after another, as long as it's less than gimel tvachim in between. The pachas b'shloisha keshalim dami, and that's Orach Chaim Sinai, that lavud it fills in the space between sticks if it's less than 3. Lamed Vav. Mavoi sheshava mitoicho, a mavoi which is level inside, umidroin pirish makom meshupa l'rishus harabim, and it has and it's sloped down to rishus harabim. Or sheshava rishus harabim, umidroin l'socho, or if it's rishus harabim is shova and there's a slope into the mavoi. Im holich umislake ma'at ma'at, if it's a very low slope, until it reaches, and we're going up asar v'toch arba amos, which we saw there was a machlokes in earlier about al panim. According to that's the Ramah brings that, but according to Shulchan Aruch, it needs to have a asar tfachim and a slope of arba amos. The Ramah says that you need a longer slope and arba amos over here, but according to the Mechaber holds it's a steep. The steep slope is 4 amos by 10. Harehu ki'ilu zakuf kulo. It's a vertical wall. The eidon tzarach shum tikun, and he doesn't need any other tikun. If it's a very high, if it's a steep enough slope, then that's considered a wall, and that's a tikkun for the mavoi, and it's not considered foolish to rishus harabim. Uvazeh hatel havi kimechitza, and in this matter, the atel, a natural hill, would be considered a mechitza, a hill, a mountain, things like that. So it's very interesting stuff. There's a whole discussion in the Gemara and Taisus about maybe Eretz Yisrael would be mukuf mechitzas because it's, you have the coast and you have the mountains surrounding, mountains going from the top surrounding to the bottom. You have hills and stuff, so maybe, all Eretz Yisrael should be considered mukaf mechitzas. Taisus talks about it. Ayin Sham in the sugya that the Levite said it's not, but al panim, that's the idea. If you have making an Eruv by a city which has one edge of it is mountainous or hills or something like that, so then that could also work as a mechitza. However, the place can bring is you say you say that, however, if there's a road or a path going over the hill, does that mevatel the mechitza, mevatel the tel, and make it not usable? It's a bit of a machlokes. It seems that the place can hold that mikaron we don't paskin that way. Biralacha says unless you want to say Ramachmir, if there's a shishim ribo, then it would be mevatel. But if you have but al in general, it's not considered foolish. It's considered a wall, and as any other natural, or even a charitz, if you have like a moat or something going around the city or something like that, that would also a ditch or a valley, some sort of steep valley or something like that, then that would also be considered a cliff. That would be considered a mechitza as well. Din Mavoi Shin Samach Mavoi Mafulish Mishnei Rosha L'Rishus Harabim. Mavoi which is open on both ends to Rishus Harabim. Outside Echad Rishus Harabim Mitzidu Hashem L'Karmelis, or one entrance is to Rishus Harabim, one entrance to a Karmelis. Hagav Shnei Rosha Psuchin L'Karmelis, or both of them are psuchin to Karmelis, which is more nagea nowadays to according to the Mimikilim and to our cities. Tzarech tzuras Pesach mikan v'lechi akora mikan. Tzuras Pesach on one side and a akora on the other side. But imtzido echad pasuach rishus harabim, and if one side is open to rishus harabim, and the other end is a house or chotzer that's einu mereves, that what they didn't do an eruv with him. The Baruch Panim, it just ends with a house, a walled house. Einu tzarich el lechi or kaira b'shnei roshav. That's not only lechi kaira b'shnei roshav. If he is meruv, you don't even need that. But Baruch Panim, it's not considered foolish, even if it's not meruv. It's not considered mafulish to anything, and the Mavoi is stays a Mavoi. As long as it has the same tnaim, that it has chaterim, the wall is high enough, then you only need a tikkun Mavoi. But if it's a din of a chotzer, it's not so long. It's whatever tikkun chotzer. Then you need to go ahead with tikkun chotzer, which is passing, or it's for a Pesach, whatever from both sides. So this is one of the more Nogea, more famous Sifrim in Eruvin, is that Rishus Harabim Atzva Eni Teres El B'Dalasos. Actually, Rishus Harabim, you cannot, unless it's completely enclosed by walls or a door. I mean, a walls and a door. You can't use Tzuras Pesach or any of those other things. It's only mutter B'Dalasos V'Hushinalus V'Layla, and that they are closed at night. The Gemara, this is the Makor of the Gemara in Eruvin talks about Yerushalayim, that Yerushalayim was a Rishus Harabim, and it was a walled city, and they used to close the doors at night in order to matir, make it not a Rishus Harabim, and you're able to do Eruvin inside, and make one big Eruv or whatever it was. Yeshayimim, even if they're not locked at night, closed at night, has to be the royal noil. If they weren't movable, then if you had a delos, but no one used it in a long time, you have to make it usable to close, but you don't actually have to close it at night. It has to be rui. I did see someone said that also you need to have a Tzuras Pesach there, because otherwise, if it's not closed, then what are you, what's if it says there's a door there. When after you make a door, it's considered one chotzer, and you make an eruv, and you marry everyone together, that's considered like one chotzer. Again, this gets into the whole shaila of big cities, or Moshe, Chazanish, all the discussions about Eruvin nowadays. If there's a actual Rishus Harabim in big cities, if there's a street, like Moshe says Manhattan, Brooklyn, any large city that has that is in one area, then you're going to have around 600,000 people all congregating towards the middle, or even all around, all around the streets. The Moshe held you can't make an eruv around that. It has to be you'd have to have the lossos, which, having strings in Tzuras Pesach, unless you put actual walls, won't work. It's completely encircled, and I mean, obviously, if it's a few small openings, that's a different issue, but Al Kapana needs a door. Or the Yam, also, the Yam would also, so the Yam is a natural thing. I don't think that's not considered. Has to be actual mechitzas, not the natural mechitzas to matter as well. And it's only din d'Rabbanan that this is not a din d'Oraisa. D'Oraisa you could use proper Tzuras Pesach and things, and that's considered a mechitza. There's only a din d'Rabbanan. The Chazanish has whatever, everybody has a bunch of chuvas about why it doesn't work and why all these cheshbonos, there's a real Rishus Harabim, it doesn't work. However, he says in Mekayim, like he talks about in Queens, which he says, it's not like New York. Queens is not like New York. So it was a very interesting tshuva. He says that the Q Hills is much smaller. It's not like Brooklyn or Manhattan, so it's even Kol Sheken, you should do a Eruv over there. And he says even to do an eruv for people, you say, well, I'm going to do an eruv so people aren't going to care anyway. I'm just going to mamayit their isurim. He says it's only a nichshalim for other people, and you can't go ahead and you don't make an eruv for people who are varyonim and don't care about who will carry anyway. Chazon Ish is a very interesting shita, which a lot of them it goes to Shita's Chazon Ish, that he holds the way your matir, the way it works is that if you have one section which is enclosed mavoi, like and that's midaraisa, that is considered Rishus Yachid, and you have three, whatever, you have three enclosed thing, and then the fourth wall, then it hits a wall over here. So the fourth wall, takatli alpi dindaraisa, the wall, it's enclosed. And we don't paskin that the rabbim come and mevatel the mechitza. That's how we don't paskin like that. As Shittas Rav Yehuda, we don't paskin like that. So therefore, it's kili you have a wall stretching across Rishus Rabbim, and therefore, this turns into Rishus Yachid, and this turns into Rishus Yachid, and the whole city turns into Rishus Yachid, and that's why you can go ahead and do an Eruv. That's why, any Eruv you say is Mahan, and they try to do in parts, they try to do Omen Meruba, all parts, they try to be sure that there's more walls than openings to try to Bakayim this Chazon Ish. I saw Moshe has a later tshuva where he says the Chazon Ish is Tamua, makes no sense, and his story is very mechudesh. And he didn't like it, but upon him, these are the two main, issues in Eruvin and the Rishus Rabbim. Again, Mavoi akum kamin dalet, so that if you have a Mavoi which is it's like a dalet, dino ki'ilu haya befulish v'achmimuso. We consider that it's ki'ilu it's befulish in the where it turns the corner. You don't say it's one mavoi, it's ki'ilu, it's that you have to put a Tzuras HaPesach or some other tikkun by the corner. And by the both ends also, Tzuras HaPesach b'chol echad mishnei roshav of lechi korban chayuso, or you put a Tzuras HaPesach in the front, and you can put a lechi in the middle. Also, you can be in ches. However, if it's like a ches, if it goes like this, then Tzuras Pesach b'shnei, so then on each corner you need to put a Tzuras Pesach or opposite. I saw some people bring down that from Meiser Rav that the Gross said that the Gross said that he didn't like people being metalta with an eruv because they explained because he was choshish that every turn of the road you have to put a tikkun. Who says that every turn there's going to be a tikkun? It's a complicated thing. You have to be sure any time the road turns, so you have to put a new section, a new this, and it's hard to keep on top of that. There's a lot of gets a lot of details and things. Daled mavos absuchim elu laelu. If you have streets which are open one to the other, eina ikum el echad mehem noitel Rishus Rabbim, and only one of them is curved or corners to Rishus Rabbim. Kima shepsichas a mavoi achitza Rishus Rabbim. Since the outer mavoi, or the entrance to this neighborhood that it opens to Rishus Rabbim, also mavoi shepasuch ela b'chemiso. That mavoi which is open to Rishus Rabbim is considered like Rishus Rabbim, and also mavoi kulan, that whole neighborhood turns into Rishus Rabbim, even though they're all twisted and turned and everything like that. But if there's one area which is open to Rishus Rabbim, then you need to put Tzuras HaPesach, whatever it is. You can't just say, well, that little inner cul-de-sac or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and make an eruv there because it's all considered Rishus Rabbim, and you wouldn't be making eruv unless you block off kilu the opening to Rishus Rabbim with the Tzuras HaPesach or something. No, because I think the chiddush is even though let's say it's a whole neighborhood, but let's say that it's like has one opening, one entrance to Rishus Rabbim, and even if that last mavoi which opens to the main mavoi turns a few turns, let's say it's very twisted, turns, and then it opens up to a whole bunch of other small streets. that street is considered Rishus Harabim, and it makes the whole thing into Rishus Harabim. Mavoi who also kanadol, you have a Mavoi which is made like a centipede. Meaning it has a center Mavoi, and there's a bunch of little Mavos, little streets or alleys, whatever, coming out from it. Mavoi Gadol, Shaharbe Mavos, P'tanim P'suchim Lo, Rosh Yashnim P'suchim Rishus Harabim, and the other openings go out to Rishus Harabim. I feel in Pislik Ktanim Mikad, even if the small openings, even if they're not, this street's over here, this street's over here, they're not a straight street, there's different small streets. Oisa l'kol echav imkom psichaso Mavoi Gadol Tzuras HaPesach. You have to, on those small streets, you have to make a Tzuras HaPesach. U'v'rosh ha'asheni ha'pasuch Rishus Harabim lechi ha'kaira. And if you have like, for example, you have a Mavoi Gadol and you have a bunch of small streets coming out of it, and those small streets are open to Rishus Harabim, you have to go ahead and make a tikkun for each small street. Mavoi Gadol, foolish, if it is open at the end to Rishus Harabim, Oiset Tzuras HaPesach, Mitzad Echad, then you make a Tzuras HaPesach on one side, U'mitzidu Hashem Lecha HaKorah, Ihu Sasum, Oiset Lechi HaKorah Barosho, if that's, the last side is Sasum, then you can just make a Lechi HaKorah Barosho, and that's after you make all the small side streets, you put a tikkun, you put a Tzuras HaPesach, and then you fix the main Mavoi after that. So then they're not mafulish, that's not considered mafulish to Rishus Harabim, which would indicate that would make it, wouldn't make an Eruv if it's to Rishus Harabim. Shin Samachay, the Mavoi Shenifratz. Let's say, there's a pirza in the wall of a Mavoi. Mavoi Shenifratz or pirza mitzido klapi rosho. If you have a Mavoi which, there's an opening on the side, close, not all the way to the end, obviously, but close to the entrance. In the wall, in Nishar Omi Berosh Pas Rachav Arba Tfachim Muter. If there's Arba Tfachim of the wall up to the end of the Mavoi, if that's still there, then it's Muter. It's not, doesn't mevatel the Mavoi. As long as the opening is not greater than 10 amos, im lo nishar pas arba. Also, however, if it's only a mashu left, it's not even dal tvachim, then it ruins the mavoi. Unless the pirza is less than gimel tvachim, so then it's lavo, then it's not considered a pirza. However, if the way the Mishnah says that if you have such an opening close to the end, if there's less than Daled Tvachim, people are going to start walking through over there. So then basically you would have to go ahead and put a tikkun by the end of, make a koira by the end of the pirza. You can't use that, the kilo is mevatel, the section, the end of the mavui, it's mevatel. Nifratz v'tzido shelo klapi rosha, if it's not near the entrance, but it's a different part of the mavui, shiuro be'eser, then again, you need, if anything less than eser amos, is fine. If you'll nishtar min ha'kreisel b'yisod klum, even if it's complete, that wall over there is completely removed, hu the low baki baravim, as long as that pirza at the other end of the mavui, the people aren't starting like rabbim. It's not like Rishus Harabim suddenly they have a new shortcut. Waze puts them when you're running through now the mavui. So if Waze turns everyone to that place, then it will be a problem. But if not, then it's okay. Aval I baki baravim afil nifratz rachar tfachim. Even if it's a small opening, tzarich l'tachnem sham, then you need to put a tikkun over there so that you can go ahead and keep block that up to matter the mavui. Mavui shenifratz. Doesn't mean you put a lechi there. It means you have to remind it from a bar tfachim, or you put a tzuras pesach, kilu, that it's not going to go ahead. I'm going to talk about you have suddenly 600,000 people start walking through that pesach. We're talking about that people are starting to use that pesach as a regular opening. So then, in order to go ahead and to matter the mavui, you'd have to go ahead and either close it up or put it Tzuras Pesach, something like that. Mavoi shenifratz b'milua l'chatzer. If one side, obviously we used to have the mavoi has an opening to a chatzer, that's completely, the whole side is completely open to a chatzer. V'nifratz b'hachatzer mitzad hasheni reshus harabim. And now the second side of the house, or the chatzer, is open to reshus harabim. Im lo eruv b'nei chatzer im b'nei mavoi. If the b'nei chatzer didn't make a shito for an eruv with the b'nei mavoi, chatzer mutter, then that chatzer is mutter. That's considered mutter to make it, to carry in if they their own area. Even if it's a straight, it's like it's fulish, the pirza is negative the pirza of the mavoi, that's okay. I feel Baki Barabim, even if people started using his chotzer as a shortcut, as long as the pirza is not greater than eser, then it's still considered enclosed. However, the mavoi becomes aser as long as it's, because there it's bigger, so they say there's more rachshash, you're going to come to carry your Rishus Harabim. One of the reasons why mavoi needs all these tikkunim, since it's big, it's a street, you're going to come to say this street, what's in this street and that street, and you're going to go ahead and start carrying everywhere. The chotzer, you're not going to make that mistake, so therefore, mavoi is a problem. The chotzer would be okay. And part of this thing over here is that since they didn't make an eruv, so like we had the case before where you cut the mavoi in half, then the eruv, the aser, the people in the mavoi, unless they make a gain. Let's see, let's say the walls of the mavoi going to the chatzer, the bits of wall left, they can't see the bits of the wall, pieces of the wall left, someone who's standing by the mavoi, but if they can see still pieces of the wall, those who actually work as a lechi, that's matir, it separates and it's matir the mavoi. If the bnei chatzer make an eruv with the bnei mavoi, the pirza shebemavoi l'chatzer, and then the pirza opens into that chatzer, eino mitzad achatzer, pirza achatzer mitzad hasheni, eino mechuvanos neged pirza mavoi. If the two openings, the chotzer is open to Rishus Harabim. If the two openings don't go straight, they're not connected to each other. Chotzer sharabim on a mavoi mutter, then the mavoi is also mutter. But imlo eruv, if they didn't do an eruv, afilu eruv, pirtzat chotzer l'mavoi mitzido, it's not in the main area, it's on the side. Or afilu be'emtza chatzer, it's in the middle of the wall, the chatzer, pirtzat chatzer mitzad hasheni kenegda, and it goes straight through to Rishus Harabim. Or afilu ena kenegda, even if it's not keneged, but chatzer hu shel yachid, and it's not a chatzer of the rabbim, it's like a park or something like that, but it's a chatzer of a yachid. Also, then that would aser everything together. He has to make a proper tikkun. If it opens to an area which is less than sasayim, or yoiser la sasayim hukuf l'dira, if it's to an empty area, some sort of field or something like that, that's either less than sasayim, so it's not a karpa, no doing karpa over here. It's the same din as kiyal nifratz l'chotzer, and the same thing applies whether it's chatzer shel rabim or chatzer shel yachid. And if it depends if the entrance is the entrance is straight or not straight through. Aval im yisera al sasayim the hook for the dira, if it's a din of a karpaf and it's bigger than sasayim and it's not hook for the dira, havi kiyal nifratz l'karmelis v'tzarech tikun, then it's kiyal nifratz l'karmelis, even that because the Chachamim made a din of a karpaf as a karmelis, and therefore if it's open to a karmelis, you need to put it Tzuras Pesach or indeed a tikun. Stop here. Yeah.